Hey guys, Jason Gomez, Lexus the bestest guy over there at Lexus of Tampa Bay. I'm on my way home from work today, grinding it out. I just had a thought on my mind, and I am driving, so I'm not paying attention to the phone. I do apologize about that. But it seems like a lot of people are misunderstanding about leases. So if you've ever considered a lease or just want to know how leases work or why people should lease, you need to hear this. And first, let me say this. If you drive a lot of miles, like 25, 30,000 miles a year, you don't want to lease, okay? If you're going to keep your car 20, 30 years, you don't want to lease. But a lot of people, especially people in my generation and above, we have this like disdain for leasing because cars back then, way back when, they changed like every 5 or 7 years or so. So it was kind of pointless to lease. You just drive your car for 10 years and and it's now the second generation of vehicles and you're still getting the latest and greatest model, and you kept your car for 10 years and didn't have payments for 5. So it worked out, right? And you just traded it in. But nowadays, the reason why you should lease is a couple of reasons. One, you get the latest and greatest technology, always, right? Because cars are changing about every 3 years. So you do a 3-year lease, you got the latest and greatest. Right? The latest and greatest luxury, the latest and greatest, look of the vehicle, the latest and greatest comfort, the latest and greatest everything. You have it. Latest and greatest even safety, because safety is constantly changing in these vehicles. I mean, let's face it, we live in an ever-changing world now. Think about, when was the last time you got a new phone? Probably not that long ago. I mean, it used to be you could go a couple years without buying a phone. Now people are doing it every couple of months or every year or even every 2 years, right? It's because the technology is changing. It makes it more seamless for your life. It's better technology, faster. It does everything that you need to do and more, right? Well, cars are no different. I mean, they've really gotten upgraded, especially with the electronic side of things, right? So they're constantly upgrading. But the real big reason why, you might want to consider a lease, and if you're really stuck on ownership, that's fine. It's okay. I'm okay if people want to do that. But I just want to educate you on why lease. The biggest reason is because you don't own the depreciation on the vehicle. See, if you finance, you own all that depreciation. Just to give some simple numbers, just to give you an example, of course, this depends on, I'm going to be upfront, this depends on the vehicle. Some vehicles hold their value stronger than others. Some don't. This is just an average number, just to give some idea, right? On a $40,000 car, okay, and this is not including any interest of financing or anything like that, or taxes or anything. I'm just basing it on a $40,000 car. You keep that thing for 10 years. Well, let me first say this. The first 3 years, 3 to 4 years, typically most cars, or the average car I should say, loses about 50% of its value. So now it's only worth $20,000 just in 3 years. You still have another 7 years to go, and mind you, cars are constantly changing, so you're already on like the 4th generation of vehicles, very outdated technology. The value is either going to drop down even further. But let's just say the car's really great shape, you got really low miles, there's nothing wrong with it, you kept the garage kept, fine. Now you get $10,000 for it in 10 years, right? Yay, I get $10,000. Probably don't even have to put anything down this time. Great. And now you're financing another $40,000 car, so now you're $70,000 out of the pocket, right? Whereas with a lease, what you would have done is the payments you could probably, now once again, it's depending on credit, it could be higher. I've seen it as low as $300. It could be higher. I've seen $600, $700 payments because your credit's just, you need to work on that. But typically you could probably get around a $450, $500 payment, right? Let's say you get a $400 payment. In 10 years, you're looking at a total of $48,000, and you're on your 4th generation of cars. Not on your first, not on your second, not even on your third. You're on your 4th generation of cars. You got the latest and greatest everything, and you saved $22,000. If you put the difference back every single year, you would have been able to buy out half that car up front. Another 10 years down the road, you'll be able to buy the car cash. You can keep it, own it, do whatever you want. Go on a vacation, go to Bermuda. I don't care. Do whatever you want with that $22,000, but you just saved yourself $22,000 in 10 years, and you're on the latest and greatest technology and everything because you don't own the depreciation. The bank does. The bank owns the depreciation. In fact, I base all those numbers on the car that you financed on, I didn't even include what happens if you get in a car accident. The value drops. On the lease, you don't own that. The bank does. Let's say you get in a car accident in that first, 3 years and you total the car. God forbid. I don't hope that doesn't happen to anybody, but I've known people that on the first day they bought their car, they drove it off the lot, got hit by a truck, and the car got totaled. Guess what? You've already lost a large percentage of that car, and they owe money on that vehicle now, and they don't even have it anymore. On a lease, you actually get gap insurance that's covered in the lease. It's different than gap insurance on your car insurance, where it only covers like 25% of the value of the car and stuff like that. That got me recently because I got totaled my car. I was really upset about that. But on a lease, it covers the rest of the car. Or at least the leases that we do at Lexus Tampa Bay. I can't say for all, but from my understanding, all of them do. Because the bank doesn't want to get screwed on the payment, so they include that into the lease. So you get in a car accident, total it today. Oh, well, bank owns the depreciation, show it tomorrow, get another car. Not a big deal, other than hopefully you're safe, God forbid. So I hope this is helping somebody. I mean, that's really why you want a lease. They own the depreciation. They got leases that are based on mileage, 7,500 miles, 10,000 miles, 12,000 miles, 15,000 miles, 18,000 miles per year. They have many different leases. They got lease terms for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. They got many different lease terms, plus also your credit. So there's a lot of different ways to work it out. Why do you want to lease? Because the bank owns the depreciation, and you know what? Who knows? Maybe you just want a nicer car. You can't afford it, but you know what? You can get the payments down that way too. That's another reason. Maybe you just want that nicer car, but you can't quite afford it yet. Lease. Get the payments down. It's affordable for you. If something happens, you're safe on the car. You're not ever over under because you don't own the depreciation. That would be the reason why you lease. If you like this video, if you like what I'm saying, please like my page, share my page, become a member on my page, whatever the case is. I'm new to all this stuff, okay? So please help me out. And if you do have questions, make the comments. I'm going to have this on my Facebook. I'm going to have this on YouTube. Make the comments. I love to answer them. It is now getting very dark. So I do want to hang up this phone because I do want to take off my sunglasses. So I will talk to you guys later.